Christian Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents The Power of Two-Way Prayer, Finding New Meaning in Addiction Recovery and Spiritual Growth by Father Bill W., narrated by Kessel. Introduction. In late December of 1972, a voice spoke to me. Alcoholism had shattered my life. I prayed, and a voice responded. It spoke only a single short sentence, but I've never forgotten the words I heard, because I knew they were not coming from me, at least not coming from any part of me I'd known before. Speaking with an authority I couldn't question, the voice pointed me to 12-step recovery, and I followed where it led. I got sober, but I didn't hear that voice again for more than 20 years. That's because until then, nobody I'd met in Alcoholics Anonymous knew the great reality actually speaks and guides, and has a whole lot more to reveal, but only if we're ready to listen and obey. All of that changed when I met an AA archivist old-timer who taught me where my 12-step recovery program first came from, and introduced me to some important things it had chosen to leave behind. What Earl passed on to me over the course of a single evening changed my life and my recovery forever. Two-way prayer lay at the heart of it all, and I hope this book will pass on to you much of what I've learned about it over the 30-plus years that followed. The prayer practice brought me regular access to that voice I'd heard only once so long ago. The book begins with my story. It had to start somewhere, and in the end, maybe all we really have are our stories. How do we make sense of our lives and find a place of peace within them? Feel free to skip over my story if you like. I won't be offended. I included it just to let you know who I am and where I'm coming from, and maybe to let you know that in the beginning I was as skeptical of this prayer practice as you may be now. If you're interested in the history of Alcoholics Anonymous, Chapter 2 gives an account of two-way prayer's roots within the Oxford group and conveys how central it was to AA's founders and first followers. It also sheds some light on how and why it was left behind. But if you're not in a 12-step recovery program, or if you find history boring, feel free to bypass that chapter as well. Chapters 3 and 4, however, cannot be skipped. Sorry, but I had to stop cutting you so much slack. These chapters are my best attempt at making two-way prayer as easily understandable as possible, and to get you listening for the still small voice that resides within us all. That voice is honest, pure, unselfish, and loving. It leads us in that direction. Chapters 5 and 6 go deeper into some of the spiritual and psychological dimensions of two-way prayer. Carl Jung played a critical role in AA's early history, and the practice he developed and called active imagination can help make two-way prayer more acceptable to non-religious or more scientifically minded listeners. Chapter 7 offers a sampling of two-way prayers that program friends and workshop participants have generously contributed. Turn to these writings at any time. They bring the practice to life. Chapter 8 takes two-way prayer well beyond its Oxford group and AA origins. It shows through example how the practice can be used to heal childhood and deep emotional wounds. This deeper work builds on two-way prayer, though as with any deep work, proceed with caution and work with a therapist if possible. Chapter 9 lists some helpful lessons I've learned in sharing two-way prayer with other spiritual seekers. Once you've grasped the practice, you'll likely want to share it. The appendices contain a meeting format that I and others have tested and found effective, along with highlights from 2 research studies of two-way prayer published in peer-reviewed professional journals. It works. It really does. Finally, I want to share with you that I'm fast approaching 80 and expect the voice I've come to know and trust and love may soon be speaking to me more directly. Over my years of listening, it's said repeatedly to be sure to leave a trail behind before I go. This is that trail. Father Bill W., Austin, Texas.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?